rosters for the 2018 season. So through next week, we'll be focusing on a different division every day in a series that you'll see all across NFL Network and NFL.com, and we are calling it Roster Reset. A lot of alliteration there. So let's focus on the NFC South. You just saw some great highlights, great moments from the Falcons, the Panthers, the Saints, and the Buccaneers. My first question, guys, who is the favorite in the NFC South right now? Nate.
I'm going with New Orleans Saints. I mean, there's no question that they were so close. I mean, aside from that one play, and I believe we're going to talk about that a little later in the show, the Minneapolis Miracle, they were one of the favorites to go out and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl. Just the weapons that they have. What I do love is two things stand out to me about last year. There was a game where they won the game and seemingly dominated on offense, and Drew Brees didn't throw a passing touchdown. That to me is shocking when we know Drew Brees is one of the best passers of all time. And then not to mention the growth and development of this young talent. So you can imagine them kind of just getting their rhythm, the combination of running backs in the backfield, the guys catching the rock, and what they're going to do this offseason, walking into next year without no major injuries holding them back. It's going to be one of the best teams, not just in this division, but in the entire NFL.
I agree with you. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense, kept everyone. I feel like Schrags, they have the perfect balance of youth and the veteran presence of a guy like Drew Brees and the coaching. They were that one mini miracle play away from being in the NFC Championship.
Yeah, and they also now have the experience of being through that. So how do you bounce back? I would assume that helps them coming forward. Now, look, they were 3-0 against the Panthers last year, so it's crazy for me to say that the Panthers are the favorite to beat. I look at what the Panthers did this offseason, and very quietly, they are very much improved. And I'm going to roll with the Panthers right now because here's what they've got. North Turner. We have not seen Cam Newton with North Turner yet. North Turner groomed not only Troy Aikman, but he helped make Phillip Rivers what he was, Alex, all these guys. He is considered a quarterback whisperer that can get the most out of the passing game out of a quarterback. North Turner replaces Mike Shula. Remember Cam last year to start off? The shoulder was kind of an issue. Took him about 7-8 weeks to get ready. Cam Newton is in prime shape right now. He is coming into the season healthy. He's not coming off an injury.
So true.
So is Luke Kuechly. I am excited for this offense, and they have the little secret weapon that no one has been talking about. It's Curtis Samuel. Coming back in year number 2. He was lost last year in the middle of the season. I think he would have been the dynamic
Bronx baller?
The Brooklyn baller. He's a Brooklyn guy.
What do we ask him? What position do you play? Baller? What did you say?
What position do you play? Running back or receiver? Because he played both at Ohio State. He goes, I play baller. I'm a baller. All right, I'm a baller too. I love what the Panthers did this offseason. Very quietly, they improved their offense. I think they're going to be the team to reckon with in the NFC.
Love that. Talking NFC South. Next question. This might be the number 1 division, guys, in terms of quarterback play. Who is the best quarterback? This is so tough in the NFC South.
This is tough because, you got Matty Ice, who stole our hearts, and he had that Super Bowl run a couple seasons ago. Jameis Winston, he always is one of our favorites, but we're looking for him to bounce back. I just talked about the Saints, so that leads me to say that it's Cam Newton.
Really?
Yes, it is Cam Newton, and for one simple reason. He started so slow. We forget that Cam Newton really didn't touch the field in the preseason, was dealing with some injuries, quite banged up. So the beginning of the year was kind of a slow start to getting to where he needed to be. It was almost like Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, where we kind of saw him get started. We saw some glimpses, and then there was a point in the season where he turned the corner. It was unfortunate, though, because he had to deal with injuries. While he started to heat up, other guys started to cool off because of injuries. So I want to see Cam Newton get back to that MVP form. How soon we forget that Cam Newton put up 50 TDs that MVP year. They had that magical run. And to your point, Peter, they had so many guys coming back. So for the first time, I feel like in Cam Newton's career, he can approach this season with a full arsenal of wide receivers, tight ends, and, of course, running backs.
Saints the best team, Cam the best quarterback. You say Panthers the best team. What do you say?
I said Panthers are the favorite, but Drew Brees. I mean, you're giving me just a pick right now.
Go back and forth.
Okay.
Quarterback. So Cam was awesome last year, and I think Cam's best game of the season came in that playoff game they lost. I thought he was unbelievable in New Orleans. Drew Brees just had a career year, though, and he's about 100 years old and just gets younger every single season that goes by. And I am so excited to see this offense because I feel like they were just getting to know each other a little bit. They were slow out of the gates, and then they were on fire throughout December and January. Brees got better as the season went on, and Brees had an amazing second half of that playoff game. They lost to Minnesota. I think Drew Brees is the best quarterback still, even at the age of 39.
He did have a career year. He's setting a NFL record for completion percentage at 72%. I feel like, what does he have to do? Lead the league in passing every year to get recognized as a top quarterback? He didn't last year, and everybody thinks he's starting to fall off or something. Not the case. It's just a more balanced attack. The defense stepping up. They've got the 1-2 punch at the run game. It's Drew Brees, baby. All right, moving on. Finally, which NFC South team has the best off-season antics so far? Who's had the best off-season?
I'll jump out at this
Okay,
one.
go ahead.
I think Tampa is sitting in the cellar of this division. You've got three powerhouses in Atlanta, Carolina, and obviously the Saints. But Tampa got so tough this offseason. Ryan Jensen, their new center, is a tough.
You
son
love
of a
Ryan
gun.
Jensen.
He's got this big red hair. He's mean as heck. He comes from CSU Pueblo. He's a 6th-round pick, and now he's the highest-paid center in the league, and he's nasty. Bo Allen from the Eagles, nasty. Mitch Unrein, nasty. Jason Pierre-Paul has an angry streak in him, and Vinny Curry from the Eagles is a mean dude. They were a good team on paper last year, then it did not work out. Now they are just a nasty team on paper. I want to see Ryan Jensen take on Gerald McCoy the first day of practice, slap him around and say, hey, no more Batman, none of this stuff. I'm here. We're an angry, mean team, and we're no longer the cellar dwellers. I think they got better on paper, but Kay, they did this last year.
Okay.
I got burned. It doesn't
I was just
matter.
about to ask you.
It doesn't matter.
How you feeling about that? You're not hyping him up.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
They got better, but now they got to actually play football.
I love that you're saying they got tougher. I feel like that's a great way to look at things.
Yeah, you know, I want to say Atlanta because they didn't have much movement, which is a good thing. It's a sign that you have the right guys on the roster. But I still feel like there's question marks with that offense, and it starts with the OC all the way down to players playing consistently on a weekly basis. But I'm going to go with the New Orleans Saints, and it's because they didn't make a ton of major moves, but a couple that do stand out. Ben Watson, who we all love, right? That's a vet that you want in the locker room that's going to set the example. And Demario Davis, if you're not familiar with him, he is a monster at the linebacker position, absolute tackling machine. So he's only going to add depth and energy to that defense that was special last year. But I love the fact that they didn't need to do much. It wasn't some huge splash that New Orleans needed. Remember the last few years where we were saying, what are they going to do? I mean, the defense is terrible. They're historically bad. They need to make moves on defense. Drew Brees needs some help. Now, all of a sudden, with free agency and draft picks, they're walking into every offseason saying, let's just make some moves that help us right now, not necessarily are going to heal us right now, because they were hurting bad over the last handful of years. So I love what New Orleans did. They didn't need to do much, added a few pieces that are going to help this year, but that just means they're headed in the right direction.
They got the deal with Drew Brees. Everybody was talking about it. Not many people talked about the deal that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers made, sealing up their wide receiver one, their star in Mike Evans. How important was that when you're seeing what's going on with Odell right now?
Yeah, and seeing the same draft class, seeing Sammy Watkins get $16 million and Allen Robinson get $14 million. It was a quiet move on a Friday night right before the Browns made all those trades. It might have been the most important move of the entire offseason. Mike Evans is a Buccaneer. It might be a Buccaneer for life. And Kay, you're right. That was an important piece to keep there.
We see it, Tampa Bay. All right, time for a break. But first, it takes a village to run one of the most successful teams in all of college sports. Here's a sneak peek at Amazon Prime's original docuseries, All or Nothing. It's the Michigan Wolverines, and it launches tomorrow.
As soon as I see the stadium, blood starts pumping.
I want to bring this season to life.